As a truck approaches a toll booth, many workers are sanitizing the area in hazardous suits. The workers respond to the truck driver claiming nothing is wrong and that the area is only being cleansed because there was a little leak at a nearby nuclear plant. As he passes through the toll booth, he is distracted by his phone and unintentionally drives over a doe. He surveys the area before returning to his truck and drives off. Despite the collision, the doe stumbles to its feet and turns out it is infected. At the same time, Suk-woo is a busy fund manager in Seoul, barely having time for his daughter Suin. Suin says she wants to go see her mother in Busan, but due to work Suk-woo disagrees. Later his mother persuades him by playing a video of Suin singing a song at a recital that he was unable to attend due to work. Out of guilt, Suk-woo reserves a seat on the following morning's train to Busan. Early in the morning, Suk-woo almost collides with a swarm of approaching ambulances and police vehicles as he drives Suin to the station. Suin reaches out the car window and catches an ember in her hand, which causes Suk-woo to notice the burning structure in the distance. As he wonders what might be going on, he nonetheless drives to the station. They board the train, along with the tough working-class couple Sang-hwa and Song Kyung, who are soon expecting a child. A young woman in spasms boards the train with a huge bite wound on her leg as it is about to depart. The station manager signals the train to leave, but then notices a crowd of people screaming at something on the stairs. Only Suin witnesses the manager being rapidly ambushed by a vicious human via the window. Suin gets up to use the restroom while feeling terrified. The sick woman is discovered in the lower numbered cars, and a train attendant tries to revive her, but it's too late because the woman has already begun to change. The attendant is then grabbed by the zombie and panically runs into the baseball team's car. The two eventually collapse to the ground. They both have turned into zombies. The two zombies then proceed to attack the majority of the baseball team, turning them into a horde of zombies. The zombies rush towards the upper compartments and infect everyone in their path. When Suk-woo wakes up, he finds Suin's seat empty. A coworker then calls him to let him know that violent riots have broken out all over Korea. Soon after, a group of panicked passengers from the lower compartments rush through past him, screaming and running. Thinking that Suin might be in danger, Suk-woo goes in the opposite way and sees Suin standing directly in front of an approaching horde of zombies. He grabs her, and they are pursued by the horde. Suk-woo manages to reach his compartment and makes an attempt to barricade it, almost locking Sang-hwa and Song Kyung out in the process. The survivors try to barricade the door before realizing that the zombies cannot open it and will only charge at people when they are nearby. Song Kyung fixes the problem by making the zombies believe they aren't there by covering the windows with water and newspapers. Over the speaker, the conductor tells the survivors that the train would not travel to Busan but rather stop at Daegu Station instead. Suk-woo overhears Yeon-suk asking his business contacts about the situation at Daegu and surmises that all arriving travelers there will be forcibly quarantined. In order to avoid being quarantined, he calls a co-worker privately and persuades him to pick up him and Suin separately. When the train reaches the deserted Daegu station, people start exiting the train. Only 4 students manage to escape: baseball player Young-guk, his crush Jin-hee, and 2 other boys. Suk-woo directs Suin to the east exit, where they would be picked up. The homeless man follows Suk-woo because he heard his phone call. The last survivors leave through the main door. The survivors understand the troops are all sick as they come across a sizable group of uniformed men near the foot of the escalator. As they rush back up the escalator and into the station, several of the passengers are eaten and infected. A soldier can be seen off in the distance as the 3 move down the hallway. Suk-woo urges Suin to remain where she is and goes to the soldier for assistance, only to discover that he is hurt. The soldier begs them to assist him. Suddenly a swarm of infected soldiers come around the corner to crush and devour him. Suin is instructed to flee by Suk-woo. She is grabbed by Song Kyung and both sprint to the station. Meanwhile, Sang-hwa, Suk-woo, Young-guk and his buddies battle the horde. They lock the escape door and rush to the train. When they get to the station, Young-guk's 2 buddies are attacked by the zombies. Both of them turn into zombies. Meanwhile, the glass above the train shatters, sending zombies onto the train. A zombie falls between Jong-gil and In-gil, separating them both. Jin-hee drags Jong-gil inside her compartment. She sees In-gil, Song Kyung, and Suin flee in the opposite direction, while Suk-woo, Sang-hwa, and Young-guk board one of the compartments. Song Kyung, Suin, In-gil, and the homeless man barricade themselves inside a restroom. When Sang-hwa calls his wife, he discovers that she and a few other people are stranded in the restroom. In order to rescue them, they have to go through the zombies first. They prepare themselves to attack the zombies. The 3 of them start to fight their way into the lower compartments, beating all the zombies with what they have got. They successfully manage to escape the compartment. They enter the second compartment. Young-guk sees his friends that have turned into zombies. He cannot bring himself to kill them. Sang-hwa tells him to stay back and fights the zombies with Suk-woo. When it seems like zombies are winning, the train enters a tunnel making it go dark. They realize that the zombies cannot see in the dark but can hear the sounds only. They take advantage of it and succeed in rescuing them. They all rush towards the first compartment, where the manager, Yeon-suk, Jin-hee, and Jong-gil are. Young-guk texts Jin-hee to let her know they are on their way to her compartment. When she joyfully informs the others, they respond angrily and choose to shut their compartment door to keep the group out, while Suk-woo and Sunghwa battle to block the zombies from entering from the other side. Young-guk tries to open the closed door. Sunghwa acknowledges that there isn't enough time and tells Suk-woo to look after his wife while he stays behind to keep the zombies busy. After apologizing profusely, Suk-woo releases the door, dragging Suin and Song Kyung towards the locked door. Sunghwa in his last moments is able to reveal to his wife the name he chose for their newborn son, before being consumed by the zombies. They break the locked door, allowing them to safely pack into the safe compartment. Although In-gil is not quick enough, she gets eaten by one of the zombies before Suk-woo closes the door. Yeon-suk is punched by Suk-woo, who is furious and demands to know why Yeon-suk did what he did. Yeon-suk refuses to respond and instead tells the others Suk-woo and his allies are infected, instilling fear among the initial group that had blocked the door. They force Suk-woo and the others who had just entered the compartment into the hallway between their compartment and the conductor's car. As soon as they are compelled to leave, Yeon-suk and the others tie down the doorknob with their ties and shirts to keep them from coming back in. After witnessing her sister die needlessly, Jong-gil is still in shock and remains mute when she sees In-gil's face among the zombies. She acknowledges that her sister's death was a result of the compartment group's act. Jong-gil opens the door, letting the zombies flood the safe compartment. The group is being devoured inside the compartment, and the survivors trapped in the hallway can only watch as they see shadows of the passengers urgently trying to open the door they had just barricaded. The conductor hears over the radio that Busan has been successful in halting the zombie outbreak, but the train is stopped by track debris as they get close to a station before Busan. The conductor tells the remaining passengers that he will drive to Busan in another train on an unblocked track, and that they should follow him. He also wishes them luck because they will have to get off the train and cross the zombie-infested tracks. He steps out of the cockpit checking if it's safe, finds a clear passage, and eventually spots a cargo train. He starts it up and starts moving down the track in the direction of Busan, searching for survivors on the path. Suk-woo gets off the train with the others after hearing the news from the conductor. Yeon-suk manages to exit the train but he is chased by zombies. Suk-woo's group is currently traveling to the freight train. A blazing freight car suddenly rushes towards them and rams into the adjoining train's cars, separating Jin-hee and Young-guk from others, knocking them to the ground and blocking their path. They enter one of the following train cars and exit through the door without realizing. Yeon-suk, who is being pursued by a zombie, is following them. Jin-hee is thrown back by Yeon-suk, making her a sacrifice to the zombie. Young-guk fights off the zombie and falls to the ground while holding a spasming Jin-hee in his arms. Yeon-suk ignores them, manages to pry open the door, and sprints in the direction of the freight train. Young-guk sobs and asks why fate had to be this way as Jin-hee chokes and starts to change. As he apologizes to Jin-hee for not telling her about his feelings for her, she completely turns and devours his face and throat. Yeon-suk twists his ankle on the rails while running towards the cargo train, which allows one of the zombies chasing him to bite his ankle. The conductor runs off the train to assist, but Yeon-suk turns on him and abandons him to the zombies, much like he did to Jin-hee. He gets on the train by himself, ignoring the conductor's cries for assistance. In the meantime, the homeless guy, Suin, Suk-woo, and Song Kyung are stuck beneath a train loaded with zombies on the opposite side of the debris. The train's windows are in imminent danger of shattering. Suk-woo locates a gap beneath the train and starts to crawl through it, but before the other three can get through, a section of the train crashes and closes the opening. The collision also breaks a window, and a few zombies fall out and creep in the direction of the three. But just in time, the homeless guy gives himself to the zombies, giving Suk-woo time to clear the rubble and Song Kyung and Suin time to flee. They run in the direction of the cargo train while being pursued by the zombies, but eventually they all get on the platform safe, leaving the zombies behind. Suk-woo noticed Yeon-suk sitting on the conductor's seat, but seeing him infected, he retreats and locks the door. Yeon-suk unlocks the door because the infection has not spread to his brain yet. Yeon-suk approaches Suk-woo and begs him to take him back to Busan. Yeon-suk is momentarily shocked when Suk-woo informs him that he is infected, and he starts weeping. However, within seconds, he completely turns into a zombie. He then attacks Suk-woo and starts to wrestle with him, almost falling off of the edge of the platform. Yeon-suk is drawn to Suin's scream from the opposite side, and he makes an attempt to attack Song Kyung and Suin. But as Suk-woo steps in, his hand is viciously bit. While throwing Yeon-suk off of the platform, he notices that he is hurt and could turn any time. He seats Suin and Song Kyung in the cockpit, and instructs them on how to apply the brakes once they arrive at Busan Station. When he tries to leave the car, Suin begs him to stay and says that she stopped singing the song on the day of recital when she didn't see Suk-woo in the audience because she was saving the song for her father. Suk-woo clutches Suin's hands for a brief minute before casting them away and shutting himself out of the cockpit. Suin starts to wail and shout for him to return. Suk-woo tears as he is walking to the end of the train while the infection spreads. Inside the cockpit, Suin keeps sobbing for him while Song Kyung tries to restrain her. He moves towards the back of the train and starts to think of Suin as a young child as he remembers his fondest moments of cradling her and holding her tiny fingers and toes. Suk-woo has turned into a zombie, still thinks of Suin and beams a joyful smile into the sky and jumps onto the tracks. The train eventually reaches the tunnel leading to the Busan station. However, there is debris blocking the track. The two get out of the train and start strolling along it, unaware that the Busan military is keeping watch over them on the opposite side of the tunnel. They cannot tell in the dark whether they are infected or not. When one of the snipers alerts his hire to their approach, the superior orders him to shoot them down. As the sniper prepares to fire, Suin somberly starts to sing to encourage the worn-out Song Kyung to continue walking to the end of the tunnel. After hearing her song, the soldiers realize they are not infected and rush to assist them. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notifications and leave a like, which also helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.